We are now a sixth of the way through the 2021 season, and some different aspects of the new season are being established. You have the teams that have come out the gate running. Hendrick Motorsports really comes to mind here. You have the teams that are a good surprise, like Trackhouse. And then there's the teams thus far that have been surprisingly behind. And this is where Stewart-Haas Racing is at the moment. SHR has been one of NASCAR's premier teams now for just under 15 years. But this season has arguably been the worst start to a season they've had since 2008, the year before Tony Stewart joined the team. To see how this poor start really set off, you really have to look back at the 2020 season and how it ended. Let's look at each individual driver and team. Kevin Harvick and the number 4 team had a dream season in the most part for 2020, but by the time the playoffs rolled around, they were a title threat still, but the cracks were starting to spread. While not terrible, his final 6 races saw him finish in the top 10 only twice, and only once above 7th. So going into 21, it wasn't expected that he was just going to dominate the series like he did early in the year. He's ran well, even after some struggles. He still is already above the playoff cut line by 65 points with 2 top 5s and 5 top 10s. Most drivers would actually dream for this kind of start to the season, but seeing how Harvick has been so dominant since 2014, it is kind of shocking. What Harvick so far reminds me of is himself when he drove for RCR. Consistent, but not good enough to dominate regularly. But Harvick is the only SHR driver that's remotely performing right now. Looking over at the number 2 driver for the team is Aric Almirola in the number 10 Ford. In 2020, AA had an impressive streak of 9 top 10s in a row in the summer, including a streak of 5 top 5s in a row to start that. These top 10s served as half of the ones he earned in 2020, and the top 5s accounted for all but one that he earned for the entirety of the season. The last 7 races of the season saw a sharp decline to running mediocre. With the exception of Martinsville in November, every finish he had was below 13th. So far in 21, his best finish is 11th at Phoenix. Only half of the 6 races run have been top 20 finishes, and he's crashed twice out in some of those, so it's not entirely his fault. While having flashes of competitiveness, Almirola sits in a tie for 26th in points, 57 points out of the playoffs already, and it's only 6 races in. Next to look at is sophomore driver Cole Custer in the number 41 Ford. What Custer's 2020 season is most known for is his daring 4-wide pass on the high side to score the victory at Kentucky. It showed a drive to win that many love in young drivers, and it showed a flash of great potential that he has. Aside from that though, I want you to remember that Custer was still a rookie, so he wasn't going to light the world on fire. In the last 11 races of 2020, he ran no higher than his only top 10 in that span, a 9th place run at the Roval. While not getting top 10s, he did score 6 finishes between 12th and 16th, so there was improvement later in the year. So it did seem like as well that Custer was going to have a growing foundation to build on for the 2021 season. Yet, after finishes of 11th and 13th in the 2 Daytona races, he's yet to be above 18th since. And since leaving the state of Florida, he's yet to have a lead lap finish. Right now, he's 22nd in points, trailing the current cutoff line by 39 markers. Now, the 4th team in this SHR equation has had a driver change, and that is the 14 team. So, obviously, there's gonna be some changes, and it's not gonna have the same continuity as the other 3 teams. In 2020, this team was locked and loaded with Clint Bowyer. Now, they roll with rookie Chase Briscoe. With Bowyer in the team, they ran consistently in that 8th to 20th place range. While not great, this did at least offer some stability. Now the team has rookie Chase Briscoe, like I said earlier. While Briscoe has dominated the Xfinity Series in 2020, he is joining into a new frontier in Cup. This has been shown in his running in the first 6 races. all of his finishes are between 18th and 32nd, with half of those finishes on the lead lap. At this moment, he is also tied for 26th in points with 57 tallies behind the current cut line. So for the last 15 to 20 races that the Cup stars have run, the SHR teams have been a bit in the decline. Now, I don't think that this is a Ford issue either. While not being as fast as the Hendrick Chevys or the JGR Toyotas, the Fords have held their own. Penske is as fast as ever, especially with Ryan Blaney's latest victory at Atlanta. Roush has shown brilliant flashes as well, like at Homestead and Atlanta. And Michael McDowell has been the best surprise of the year so far. So I don't think this is a Ford problem as much as it is a Stewart-Haas Racing problem. This also isn't a package issue as well, as the other Fords have run well in each race and SHR has still basically struggled across the board. I think overall, it's solely concentrated in that SHR shop. The cars are a step behind at this time, and with no practice at the moment, there's no way to remedy the issues, until at least the race is actually running. This also doesn't help the young drivers who are quickly falling behind the faster and more experienced veteran. Almirola was the 4th best driver at SHR only 2 years ago. Now he's their number 2 driver. And with that, his trends of performing much to what his car will give him is shown in a brighter spotlight. Harvick is the only one that's ahead, and I think that's because he's one of the greatest that's ever raced in NASCAR, so he's able to get a little more out of his cars than other drivers. But raw talent can only overcome so much before the natural limitations of the car are shown, like they have been so far this year. Now, I know that all 4 of these drivers have had some bad luck. This isn't all on them or their crew chiefs or their teams. But for so much of this year so far, this fleet has not even passed the eye test. Luckily for SHR, it's both early in 2021, and there are only 30 races left in this car before the next gen comes in 2022. So there should be a reset on the horizon, and they've shown to adapt well. But that's all from me. Now, I want to hear from you. What do you think is the deal with SHR at the moment? Let me know down in the comments below. And while you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more great NASCAR content like this. And until next time, have a good one.